Bren Ritsuno here. Today I wanted to share with you the importance of questioning your assumption at all times. Ignorance or incompetence are very dangerous. A lot of times, like evils are committed by such. But where those things come from, the ignorance or incompetence, generally speaking, it's a unquestioned assumptions that people have or we have. We just believe in something that really not so. There's sayings about that too. What gets you in trouble is not something that you don't know or you're incompetent. Generally speaking, if you don't know or you're incompetent, you kind of avoid. That's it. And then kind of mediocre work. But the problem is something that you know or you believe that you know, but that's not true. But then since you believe in it and you never question it, you think you're doing the right thing, and then you go all the way in, and then you destroy your life or somebody else's life. That's probably the most of the case. So certainty is actually a very dangerous thing. The smartest way to think about life is improbabilities. Means it's like there's always some space that you could be wrong. There are certain things, it's clearly correct. But it's just your humility as a human being that 0.01% of chance that you could be wrong. If you have that, then you're probably way ahead of many, many people. Because that little skepticism in your idea might be the one that actually saves you. Why is that? It's because like people are really emotionally wanted to feel certain because we're scared of uncertainty. We wanted to feel we know because the world around us is uncertain and dangerous. This is like ancient wiring that we had. You know, we're surrounded by nature, dangers are everywhere, and so we get really scared. So we create some sort of this certain kind of belief that we can actually feel secure. But in a modern world, it's important to resist that temptation. And another thing is, do not tie your belief system into your identity. Your identity is not your idea. What you wanted to put your identity in is what you do daily, like how you behave. That's who you are, really. So as long as you're doing great, not hurting anybody, you're doing best for yourself, then your idea is an idea. If you make mistakes, don't think admitting the mistakes is hurting your identity because it's just an idea. The fastest way you can advance is to admit mistakes as fast as possible and correct. That's it. The faster you can iterate, the faster you can advance in life. So in a sense, if somebody tell you something that pisses you off, but likely that you might want to think the person, because whatever you feel that your emotion is going to go up, then probably something is not quite right in your identity or idea you have in the reality. That's why that gap, you don't like it. Always seek the opposite opinion than yours and how that opinion is actually stand up to your thesis. So don't be afraid of listening to opposing ideas, because if your idea is correct or true, then your idea should stand in the utmost scrutiny. Even anybody can give you detailed counter argument. You should be able to stand in your ideas because you researched it, you have better evidence, and you can actually prove it with your experience or experiment. So if you feel that somebody's opinion is scary, then you need to check your own idea, why that's so fragile. And then the issue of stuck in a false belief is that you will be missing the path that then you could take, the better path. Because in order to have the best path as possible for your life, you have to plan ahead based on the reality, because you are living in a reality. Nothing to do with your idealism, nothing to do with mathematics or any sort of like ideal. You're living in a reality. And mathematics is like, in a fundamental sense, it's actually the reality. But what I'm trying to say is the more so of the fantasy land. If you believe that, then that fantasy land is going to happen in the real world, and then if you're choosing your life to live that way, then you're missing a huge opportunity in life. Basically, you are taking on the cost of omission. So cost of omission is something that you never actually done it because you never went through that path, so you just don't realize it. And then you're okay with it because it never happened to you. But that's the dangerous part about believing a false belief. Years of your time passes by, not knowing there could have been the better path for you, a lot better path. So always check your reality by questioning assumptions, and then put that assumption into a grinder. Always test it, and then challenge it, and then make sure that your idea stands. So if you have that good mental map of reality, and then you can have the best decision in your life, and then the decision that you make and the choice that you make daily in a correct way will lead to the path that open up in a real life. That's where I want you to get to that. And then that's really up to individual, up to you to discover what's true or not. It's a lot harder than you think. It's like going to a school, right? It's not easy to study mathematics or science. They are the truth in a certain way. And it's not easy to understand in a depth, but for you, in a different ways, at least in your vicinity, at least your field, you wanted to find that truth. So to do that, you have to be, in a sense, open-minded to the fact that you could be wrong, so that the correct mental models can be built in your mind. Without questioning assumptions, you cannot. And you can get stuck in that same place. And then you will incur tremendous cost of omission. So question your assumption daily, or check your assumptions, and then your life will be a lot better. Thank you for watching. And please like and subscribe, and make a comment below, and I'll see you next time.